We're gathered here today at the 26 O.T.U Wing Memorial construction site on the 79th anniversary of the first 1,000 bomber raid that took place on the night of 31st of May 1942. This night is also the anniversary of the first losses incurred by 26 O.T.U when 4 of their Wellingtons failed to return. The 15 aircrew lost that night were as follows: Flying Officer William Robert Humphrey Whiting, Royal Air Force Volunteer Reserve; Sergeant John HARTAS George Garrick, Royal Air Force Volunteer Reserve; Sergeant James Milton Hall, Royal New Zealand Air Force; Sergeant Richard Charles Williams, Royal Air Force Volunteer Reserve; Sergeant Alan Norman Young, Royal New Zealand Air Force; Flight Sergeant Edwin John Ford, Royal Air Force Volunteer Reserve D.F.M; Pilot Officer Douglas Claude August, Royal Air Force Volunteer Reserve; Flight Sergeant Frederick Frank Barker, Royal Air Force; Flight Sergeant John Thompson, Royal Air Force; Sergeant John James Dixon, Royal Air Force Volunteer Reserve; Sergeant Brian Buchanan Camling, Royal Air Force; Sergeant Dennis Howard Fletcher, Royal Air Force Volunteer Reserve; Pilot Officer Arthur Cyril White, Royal Air Force Volunteer Reserve; Sergeant David Stanley Bonner Vincent, Royal Air Force Volunteer Reserve; and Sergeant Hector Leslie Smith, Royal Air Force Volunteer Reserve. We're just going to have now a minute's silence in remembrance of these boys.